A wild wolf burst through the hospital entrance, its powerful presence sending shockwaves through the corridors. The sight of the fierce creature caused panic and confusion among the staff and patients. The nurses scattered, searching for shelter from the wolf's imposing figure. Among them was a young nurse named Emily with wide eyes and trembling hands. She watched as the wolf roamed the hospital, its fierce gaze cutting through the chaos. However, Emily noticed something unusual. The wolf was carrying something in its mouth. Emily tried to calm everyone down because she saw that the wolf was carrying something that looked like a small creature, but it wasn't a wolf. The hospital administrator immediately began evacuating the hospital. They couldn't risk anyone getting hurt by the wolf. Emily decided to take matters into her own hands. This was her only chance to make a real difference. Emily managed to lock the wolf and the small creature in a room. Suddenly, the wolf became extremely aggressive and tried to lunge at Emily. Emily tried to make herself appear smaller to show the wolf she was there to help. She knew the wolf desperately needed her help or a veterinarian. Luck was on Emily's side, and it seemed the wolf was calming down. Then Emily decided to call for help from a willing veterinarian who was trying to assist. All the doctors seemed very hesitant to help Emily. She begged them to follow her, but they only told her that they had called animal control to remove the wolf from the hospital. Finally, she finds a close friend and a skilled surgeon who is willing to go with her to see what's happening. As they approach the room, they hear a howl. It seems that the wolf is very concerned about the well-being of the small creature. There appears to be a strong connection between the creature and the wolf. Emily tries to get closer, but the wolf immediately bares its teeth. Emily quickly realizes that it won't be easy. She doesn't know what to do. Emily doesn't give up, and by some miracle, the wolf allows her to approach the creature. Emily still doesn't know what to do. She has no idea what this creature could be, but it looks very weak. Emily knows that they need to bring in an animal expert, preferably a veterinarian, but the nearest one is far away. She manages to contact the veterinarian immediately, and when she explains the situation to him, the doctor goes silent for several seconds. Emily senses that something is seriously wrong. The veterinarian asks her to describe it to him. The creature has no idea what it is or how it can be helped, but it realizes that its condition is getting worse by the minute. Suddenly, the wolf starts howling as if it realizes that something is wrong. Emily senses that there is more to this. The wolf suddenly seems extremely nervous. Then some police officers burst into the room to check if everyone is okay. Emily tells them to step back. Then the wolf does something unexpected and walks toward the door. It seems like it wants Emily to follow it. Emily has no idea what's happening, but a sense of urgency fills the air and she can't ignore the wolf. Emily follows the wolf outside. It seems to be heading toward the forest. She calls an animal expert from the local wildlife reserve to tell him where she's going. He urges her not to blindly follow the wolf. Emily starts to hesitate. She shares her live location with David. She can't wait for David to arrive and decides to enter the dense forest, with the wolf guiding her. The deeper she goes into the forest, the more anxious Emily becomes. She feels like she's being watched. Emily is nervous and almost ready to give up. When she hears a loud noise, she then realizes she's getting a call from someone. She picks up the phone, but she barely has any signal. She hears. The veterinarian on the other end stammers and sounds mysterious, as if urging her to turn back. Emily knows it's an urgent call. The wolf stares in desperation. Emily starts to doubt her decisions. Should she head toward the noise, or should she decide to turn back now? Emily decides to gather all her courage to keep following the sounds. She feels like she's close. A chill runs down her back as the forest starts to get denser. This time she's sure that someone is close to her. She definitely knows that someone is watching her now. Then she turns pale when she hears a voice in the distance shouting at her. Because of the adrenaline, Emily doesn't recognize the voice. But when she looks up, she realizes it's David, who, luckily, managed to catch up with her. The wolf doesn't know who David is and starts rushing toward him. Emily realizes what's happening and throws herself between the wolf and David. Just before the collision, the wolf stops. Emily sighs in relief. It seems the wolf understood that David is here to help. The wolf turns its head again. He indicates that Emily and David should keep moving now. David was so shocked by the sudden attack that he even fell to the ground. And he asked Emily what exactly is going on. Emily tells him that she has no idea how dangerous the situation is or what they are being chased by. David follows Emily closely as he listens to the ground and the unsettling sounds as well. The sounds grow louder with every step they take toward them. Finally, they reach the source of the sounds and realize that they are coming from the bottom of an old well. Something might have fallen into the well. The wolf indicates that this is the place where he wants Emily and David's help. It's very dark inside the well. They can't see anything. However, they are certain that there is something there. They can hear it. By a stroke of luck, David had brought some ropes with him. David tells Emily that the rope is strong enough to hold him while he climbs down. Emily was hesitant. Things could go very wrong. She felt she wasn't strong enough. David takes a deep breath and lets himself go over the edge while Emily holds the rope tightly. David climbs down, then Emily panics as the rope slips away from her. She hadn't tied the rope well around her waist. Suddenly, she hears David screaming loudly. He grabs the phone and turns on the flashlight, then finally realizes what was making the noise. David points the light toward the sounds and sees more of those small animals. He shouts to Emily about what he sees. She realizes that the one in the hospital wasn't the only one. After about 15 minutes, David manages to bring all the animals up to the surface and leads them into the channel. They were now looking at a total of 5 animals. They had to take them safely to the hospital. David and Emily can only carry 2 each, which still leaves 1. However, they realized that the wolf could carry 1 of them as well. They picked up the animals and started running. When they arrived at the hospital, they were told to hand over the animals and wait in the waiting room for the operating room. They were not allowed to enter the room under any circumstances. After a while, the veterinarian had to open the door and invited them inside. He told them they arrived just in time and that they were able to save the animals. Emily approached the veterinarian and asked for an explanation. It seems that these animals are a hybrid between a wild dog and a wolf. He couldn't determine how they ended up in the well, but these puppies are very rare. Emily was completely against releasing them into the wild. They need to go to a safe place. Fortunately, David works at the local animal sanctuary, and they still have space for these animals. Emily now visits the wolf and the puppies regularly. The puppies even recognize her and David, and she gets a lot of love from them. She is happy that she made the decision to face her fears and followed the wolf into the forest that day to save the animals.